Welcome to the Life Multiplied podcast, where we sit down with local community members to hear their stories and learn what they love about the Bloomington-Normal community. Welcome to the Life Multiplied podcast. Today I have two special guests with me, very special because I used to be an intern for them. So if you two would like to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Well, let me correct you first of all. You're a project coordinator.
Yes, I was. I know that's a big thing for you. You don't like the name intern.
No.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. Paul Segabiano, I'm Director of Development for the Great Plains Life Foundation.
And I'm Liz Skinner. I'm Director of Public Relations for the Great Plains Life Foundation.
Awesome. And you two are great. You're doing great things for the community. Can you share with the people who are listening what Great Plains Life Foundation is if someone is not aware of what it is?
Well, back in 2004, lifelong Bloomington resident John Penn, who's a local labor leader, came to Paul and I and said, I'd really like to bring together the charitable efforts of labor and management. And the goal would be to help address the high school dropout crisis. So at that point, Paul and I agreed, and we began working with area educators here locally and across the state of Illinois to put together a program. And it's a very unique program entitled the Stay For Project. Initially, we went to a good friend of Paul's, Dr. Alan Hickrod, Professor Emeritus at ISU, and we were talking to him possibly about a scholarship, and he said no. He said, what you're talking about, the kids that you're looking to help, they can get financial aid, they can get scholarships, but they need other monies for textbooks, for other living expenses, and that kind of thing. And so at that point, we decided we wanted to do a support grant for these students. And I'll tell you what, he was very right about his thoughts, and his guidance was very important to putting the program together.
Yeah, our intention was to pick these kids up their freshman year in high school and shepherd them through.
Sure.
And then we learned out working with educators, they said that's impossible. The kids you're going to work with, they travel, they're mobile. He said, in the family situation they come from. They convinced us to pick these kids up at the beginning of their junior year. Said that's when their problems really increase in the high school. That's when they begin to think about dropping out or, working full time because they're getting a check on $20 to $25, and that meant a lot to them. So we agreed with Dr. Hickrod, and we moved it up to their junior year.
So we initially started working with the school districts here in Bloomington-Normal, and then over the years that expanded to include school districts Champaign-Urbana, Decatur, Rockford, Peoria, Springfield, Olympia, Pekin. And the school districts are responsible for selecting the students at the beginning of their junior year. Students who are low income, they qualify for the free and reduced lunch program, and students that their counselors feel are, for whatever reason, at risk for dropping out. So once they become a part of our program, they have criteria that they need to fulfill in the areas of academics, community service, extracurriculars. One of our partners is the Illinois Student Assistant Commission, and they have young college graduates that come into the high schools, meet with our students, and they're really very important in finding them financial aid and money to continue their education and go to college if that's what they want. One of the other, the first people we went to at the time was Dr. Al Bowman, who was president of ISU. And he said, I believe in what you're doing. And he said, we're going to make a commitment to help you. So since that time, since 2008, the president's office at ISU sponsors a successful students seminar exclusively for our students in the Stay For Project. And every spring, we bring them into campus. They have an opportunity to tour the campus. hear motivational speakers, talk to people from admissions, financial aid, ROTC, and this year we're working with the Facility Services Department, who are also going to take the students to the physical plant and give them an opportunity to learn about careers in the trades.
Okay.
And the Livingston McLean Trades and Labor will be a part of that program as well. So we're really excited at the different opportunities that we can offer to these kids.
Yeah.
We've encountered several students throughout the state of Illinois, and we can justify opening up other opportunities for them due to the fact that tuition is increasing for major university, not so much on a community college level, but on a university level, four-year university level. So as Liz just stated, it's going to give these kids an open opportunity. And we need to mention as well as the military, that these kids qualify for this grant for. So we're excited about that opportunity, new opportunity at ISU.
And once the students in the program, they fulfill all the criteria, they graduate and they enroll in either the military, a trade school, or college. We have a $1,000 support grant to help them really through that first year with unexpected expenses.
Yeah.
Some of the students will use it for textbooks. We buy a lot of laptops for our students, which is really critical when you're a college student. Yes, and in some cases we've purchased winter coats and boots for students. So most of these students, when they graduate from high school, are the first in their families to do that, and certainly nearly all are first-time college students. But we've had over 97% have graduated from high school. We're very proud of that.
Yeah, that's
We've had 600 kids.
Yes, we've had over 600 students in the program. And it's really been rewarding to see them go on to, 45 different universities, and many of them have been in the college's honor programs. We've had students who have gone on to receive their master's and even doctorate degrees. We've had just a year ago, our second student was admitted to Harvard University.
Wow, that's
so we're really proud of our record.
Yeah. So let's move in, just kind of dive into I believe there's two fundraising kind of things that you do. I know you have the 20 Stars, and then you have Day of the Dozer. Do you kind of want to touch on those and how those benefit the organization?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but a lady appeared at my doorstep one day and wanted to know if I could help her. But she had a 3-year program to help kids. And so as she explained the program to me, my wife was listening. She said, well, Paul could help you do that. That was 29 years ago.
And here you are.
And here we are. But it's been extremely rewarding, and the Stay 4 project is continuing. It's continuing on 3 years, plus 26 more.
Right.
But the 20 Stars for Life program is really a black tie affair. It's a great attention getter for those who attend. About 400 people attend that program. And there again, we'll be in our 29th year for that program. And it is a major fundraiser, and it exposes our program to all of those who attend, and and opens up their eyes to what our needs are. Sure. And then we call it our Black Tie Affair, and then we go into what we call our Dirty Boots Affair, and that's Day of the Dozer. Last year we were extremely successful in that program, and looking for it to grow. We had close to 1,500 kids in the program that year, plus grandmas and grandpas, moms and dads. So there were well over 3,000, 4,000 people there. And David Stark, who's a major sponsor of that program, gave us a nice compliment. She said, Paul and Liz is taking this program to a new height. And we do that, and we'll continue to do that, because it's those two major fundraisers, plus so we have a very small one called the Turkey Bowl. And it's a one-day affair, and then we also have our holiday appeal. all these are very vital to survival of this program and survival for these young people.
Well, we're very fortunate because we have great sponsors who help us with the program. And you know, you were very involved in the 20 Stars when you were working in our office. So you're very familiar with that. But without, nearly everything for that black tie event is donated by our sponsors. Park Regency donates the space. The Pantograph has been a major sponsor from the beginning, helping us with the advertising. Reality Bites is providing the buffet for us this year.
Good.
So yes, so we've got wonderful sponsors. And
our new sponsor.
Yes, and in addition, as Paul mentioned, David Stark Excavating has been so generous with Day of the Dozer and so many other sponsors. We really couldn't do it without them. We've been very fortunate.
Well, every now and then we run into a little glitch, and it's due to demand of some business. For instance, it's the tuxedos that are provided for our male stars that day. We had a company over in Champaign who donated that, and they are no longer in the black tuxedo. So now we're
Cloud9 Bridal over in Peoria. So again, we have support from throughout the state.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So do you want to? I don't know. I'm sure that there's more than one, but if there's a success story of a student that specifically stands out to either the two of you, if you'd like to touch on
that. We
that.
haven't got all day to get into that because there's a lot of them. But I'm going to let Liz take the lead on this and talk about the one young lady.
There was a young woman, and we visited with her. When she was growing up, she knew she always wanted to be a veterinarian, and she had it tough. Her father spent a lot of his time in jail. Mother was working hard to keep food on the table and provide the rent for she and her brother. And so anyway, when she was 15, she became pregnant, decided she was going to raise her daughter, and she didn't get a lot of support from her high school counselors. But she was a very smart young woman, graduated summa cum laude from her high school, received a full presidential scholar at Millikan University, all tuition paid.
Nice.
She's in her senior year, getting ready to graduate, talking to her honors counselor, who said, well, what are you going to do now? And she said, well, I'm going to continue my education. What I've always wanted to do, I want to be a veterinarian. And he said to her, I'm telling you this because I care about you. I don't think you'll get into veterinary school, and if you do, I don't think you'll ever finish.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
Yes.
Yeah, no support, yeah.
And she said the only support and encouragement I was getting was from Stay 4, who said, you can do it, we believe in you, and we did. And we were in touch with her throughout her high school years in college. And last year at the 20 Stars event, Dr. Genesee Moore addressed our attendees. Okay. She graduated with honors from University of Illinois Veterinary School.
That's awesome.
Dr. Moore. Yeah. So that's one of many.
Yeah, sure.
But we're very proud. Many of the students in our program, it just takes a little pat on the back, as Paul says, just a soft hand on their shoulder to let them know that somebody's in their camp, cheering for them, telling them they can do it, helping them open doors, and letting them know this is out here, and if you want to walk through that door, we'll help you get there. And that's what Stay 4 does.
Yeah. Probably the one comment that we get most often and extremely proud of.
Sure.
So many of these students will say, I didn't think anybody cared about me.
Right.
And we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, one of the young men that went to Harvard was a great story. Walked in the room, and the first thing we thought, he needs nourishment and perhaps some clothes. And he's a young man who was accepted at Harvard on a 12-year scholarship and is becoming a doctor. Very intelligent young man, but kind of cast aside, had no father, and mother swept floors in a factory, didn't speak English. those are some of the stories that we encounter with these kids. But
Yeah.
we stay in touch with as many of them as possible.
Yeah. And I know that you work, with different throughout the state, but how lucky are we to have you as a part of the community to, go into those high schools, or not go into them, but like connect with those high schoolers and know that there is somebody in the community that cares about them and their success and what they're going to do with their life. So that's awesome.
It's been very rewarding. It really has.
Yeah.
And we're excited about the future and continuing. We've had over 600 and that number keeps rising, but we can't do it without the support of the community, without our major sponsors and those people that are involved in our events. So that's very important.
And we're always reaching out to some of the major companies here in Bloomington and the state of Illinois. In fact, we're trying to arrange a meeting with the officials in Springfield. How can we receive more grant money? And the more money we receive, the more kids we can give a better life opportunity to. So it's always a matter of raising money, raising funds, and we have other obligations as well, utilities at the office comes in. Everything cuts into what the funds we raise.
Sure.
But Liz and I are constantly on the phone, constantly on the computer. Well, she's on the computer, I'm on the pencil.
Yeah, no, I know you two stay very busy. So let's move into you. I know that the organization is here in Normal, but what do you love about the community here? I know you probably love the support and the sponsorship and whatnot, but is there anything else that you love?
Well, the opportunity to meet good students from ISU and Western, such as yourself.
Yep,
But,
thank you.
and full well, one of the things I first say to our students, if you can't have fun, you don't belong here, because what we do is very important work, and the kids we support need our support. But it goes back to the students at ISU and the faculty and staff at both universities, and the fact that so many businessmen in this community, businessmen and women, support our program.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm always out there with my hat in my hand. Can you put something in it, for these kids? But it's a camaraderie of the community and the people we deal with, And Bloomington-Normal is a friendly, giving community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, the partnerships that we've been able to develop here in Bloomington-Normal, and so many wonderful businesses and so many individuals that are caring and really want to help students, young people in need, and help make the community better. And certainly that's a big part of Stay For, without an education, these young people will continue in a cycle of poverty. And Stay For opens the door to a positive future for them, to become better citizens in their community.
Yeah. And so just to touch, do you guys have any upcoming internships that are going to be available, or project coordinator positions that are going to be available here in the future?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah. One thing that we really hang our hat on at the office, as you well know, is getting good qualified students who could come in and, as I said a moment ago, have fun, in a very serious situation and provide input. We do not look upon Liz and I as the sole survivor of this program.
Right.
It's the students that come in and partner with us and have their own ideas, their own innovation of what we need to do and how we need to approach these students to make their life better. Not only the students to live and learn what we're doing, but how they get into the lives of these students that we're trying to make a better life for. So it's all of us working together for a better tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we have project coordinators 12 months out of the year.
Right.
And certainly we rely on Illinois State, Illinois Wesleyan, Heartland College as well. We've had project coordinators from U of I, Loyola, Millikan.
Well, if there's any way I can help, I know I have an internship board through Life Multiplied, so I'm happy to post those intern or project coordinator positions. On that board for you to help kind of get that out there.
We'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
And I think one thing the audience might understand a little bit of information is, where does Stay For come from? Why is it called Stay For? Well, when we asked to put this program together, Liz and I sit down, and I'm telling you, we waste a lot of paper and pencil and everything, trying to find the right name for this program. And I finally said to Liz one day, what are we trying to do? She said, keep kids in school. I said, for how long? Well, 4 years. Stay 4.
Okay.
That's where it came from.
I don't even know if I've heard that, so it's a fun little fact. Well, is there anything else you would like to add before we come to an end?
Money. No, we enjoy the opportunity to come here and let the general public know exactly what we're doing and the needs for these kids out there, because the more that we can education, I often tell them, is a lot of your life. And the more that we can educate, the better society we can live in.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Life Multiplied podcast.
Thank you, Courtney.
And it's good to see you.
Yeah,
Yes,
good to
it
see
is.
you.
One of our success stories.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in to next week's episode, where we talk with local community members to learn more about Life Multiplied here in Bloomington-Normal.